So I've made you the host now.
Okay, let
Yeah.
me. Okay, so before we start the session, okay, so I hope you guys are doing well. And before we start the session, I have to discuss a few things. I hope that you have submitted your assignments to the Google form that been assigned to you guys by Reskill. And today I want you guys to be active. We are going to discuss some complex capabilities in the Spark AR. And yeah, so you don't hesitate to ask me question. You can use chat box to drop your query. You can even use emojis. If you are getting the concept, drop a thumbs up emoji. If you're not, then drop a thumbs down emoji. So I know that I can go further and teach you other stuffs. Yeah, you can message me on WhatsApp privately, or you can drop your queries on WhatsApp group. Okay, so let's start the session. Today we are going to discuss development of a 3D interactive effect, slider UI, picker UI, okay, audio reactive effect, and little bit of triggers and gestures, just like we discussed in the first session. Okay, let's start the session. So today we are going to make a 3D effect we are going to use complex capabilities today. So please be attentive. Let's start. So today we need some default assets. So I'm going to tell you where you can find the assets. So first of all, go to file section and new template, and then go to neck decoration. Okay. So neck decoration is opened, and then we will need bust occluder and head occluder. Okay. So you guys, you can right click on it and click on reveal in Explorer, and that's open right here. Then go to objects, here objects, and then copy both the bust occluder and head occluder and create a new folder and paste it somewhere so you can use it later. Okay. Now I already have the assets, default assets, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to import it. Here's my bust occluder from computer and head occluder. So you guys know how to import asset. Click on add asset, import, and from computer. Okay, so now we have bus occluder and head occluder. Okay, let's add a face tracking. We have face tracking here, and let's configure the project. Remove Facebook because we are making the filter for Instagram. So uncheck Facebook and click on Instagram camera. Okay, now drop this head occluder to the face tracker. So now we have this black type of 3D thing here. Okay. Now we are going to drop bust occluder. So now we have a whole person, but it's in dark. Uh, now we are going to adjust this. Add occluder, and we have scale here. We are going to resize it to match the head. So we are going to change the value to 2.2, 1.2, 1.2. That's fine, I guess. And then same with the bus occluder. Bus occluder is kind of fine, so I'm going to change its position. Now it's perfectly placed. We are going to hide it. Change the blend mode. Click on brush occluder and click on the material. The material will load here and change its blend mode. We will change the blend mode to alpha, and we will do the same with the head occluder and decrease the opacity to 0. So what happened is the 3D asset is here, but we decrease the opacity, so it's not visible, but it's there. Okay. And now we are going to import a 3D asset from the library. Click on the asset library and then 3D objects. 3D object, and we are going to use a simple diamond 3D object and click on import free. And now we have our diamond. Drag it to the first, create a null object. As I explained you in the first session, that null object is an empty class. So make sure it is in the parent class of face tracker. And now we have the null object. Then drop the diamond to the null object. And here's our diamond. Okay. Now we are going to, let me stop the preview. And now we are going to send that back. So it's going to be behind the head occluder. So the head occluder we created is here, but we decrease the opacity. But now, as you can see that when I push the object back, it's hidden. Okay. If I remove these two, it shows. But if I active it's disappeared. So yeah. And now what we are going to do is we are going to create a rotation patch here in the patch editor. Okay. Our goal is to rotate the null object around the head. Okay. So let's create a animation. Let's create a loop animation and then progress to transition. Now it's here. Connect this to 3D rotation. As you can see, as I change the value here, 360, the object is moving, but it's not visible here. So what we are going to do is we are going to bring back the object to the front. We put the object behind the occluder in the null object. But as it's the parent class, we can also access the diamond here. So we are going to uh, take the object to the front. So, so now the object is here. Let me just access the value. Okay. Let's see. So now, as you can see, the object is moving around the head. We are going to adjust this a little bit. So as you can see that the object is moving around the head, we need to adjust this a little bit more because it's kind of cutting from the right side. Okay, it's fine now. You need to play around with the values to get it perfectly. Okay, I'm going to adjust this, move it a little bit upwards. Uh, Now change the material to, it's already physically based. Let's add the color. Now it's looking kind of cool. You can change the speed. Like if I change it to 5, then it will move slowly. As you can see right here, it's moving slowly. Let's change it to 2. So that's how you use head occluder. You don't. You just have to get the default asset and drag and drop it in the face tracker and hide it. Like turn down the opacity to 0 and put your 3D object here and use it null class. Use null class as a parent object. So you can adjust it easily. It's moving, and now we are going to use some gestures. Okay. Or we already have face tracker here, so just simply drag and drop it in the patch editor. Okay. Let's use my. Now what I want is when the person starts smiling, the object will stop. So we are going to use not class. So what not class does is it reverses the signal. So as you can see, when he's smiling, the object stops, and when he stops smiling, the object starts. See, so that's a simple gesture. We are going to remove it for now, and we are going to use native UI here. So to use native UI, you need to right click and then go to user interface and then pick a UI. So you probably have seen the Instagram effect with little buttons in the bottom. That's the native UI. So we are going to turn it on. To use native UI, you need to load textures here. So as you can see, we have textures from 1 to 10. So we are going to load textures. So the text, there are some specifications to load the textures. I'm going to access. Let's start here. So I have some pre-made textures here. I'm going to load 1 to 4. Okay. So to use these textures in the native UI, you need to turn off the compression. So here is the compression section. You need to click on none to disable the compression. So make sure to disable all the compression from all the devices like iOS, Android, and all older Android. Okay, so now the compression is disabled. You can either load the textures from here, or you can just drag and drop the images here, the textures, and connect it manually. So as you can see, we have successfully loaded the native UI. Yeah. So what we are going to do, we are going to change the color of the diamond that's here and to with native UI. So if I connect this to value, we have value here. So as you can see, when I click on 1, the value changes to 1. If I click on 2, the value changes to 2, and so on. So instead of value, we are going to change the color. So connect this node to option picker. Okay, so option picker is here. Make sure to connect this to the main class. Option picker is here. Change it to color. So we have different color here. We are going to add some colors. So I have loaded the colors here. Okay. Now we are going to add the texture of the diamond material and connect it to the option picker. And now as you can see that when I click, change it to, as you can see when I click on the native UI, the diamond color changes. So that's the UI for you. You can do multiple things. You can hide and show objects like different. If you suppose if you are creating a light leak filter and you want to show different lights, just like Fuji. So what you are going to do, you are going to create. You can either create different one material and load different textures. If you change this to texture, and you can load different textures from here like light leak 1, light leak 2, or light leak 3. Okay. And if you don't want to do that, you can create different rectangles and use those rectangles to hide and show. And now we are going to use slider UI. Again, right click, user interface, and we have slider UI here. So add patch. So you have also seen the slider in the Instagram effects. You can control various things with slider UI. Again, turn it on by clicking on visible, and then so as you can see, the current value is 0. So if I change it to 1, the value will change to 1. So I can't, the program does not have the slider here, but if I use this effect in the phone, I will see the slider. So as I'm using the program, I can't show you, but let's create, connect this to something. Let's connect this to scale. I want to change the diamond size with the slider UI. So what I'm going to do is add this to patch, and then change it to vector 3, as we have 3 values here, and connect it to the 3D scale. It's not connecting. Let's use multiply. Vector 3, remove this, add this to slider value, and connected successfully. Now let's suppose if the slider is set to 0.5, the size with the timer size will decrease. And now this is user interactive. The user can change the diamond size by his own wishes. So if the user wants the diamond to look bigger, he can change the value to 1, like he can change the slider value. And if you want to, multiply the value, you can just multiply it from here, and multiply it by 2. So now we have a bigger base to choose the size from. Keep it to the point. Okay. So that's the slider UI. You can use this to control the intensity of your LUT. Like if you are using a brighter LUT, and you suppose if you are using saturation, so you can use it. If I want to use saturation, like this color. Okay. It's not loading. Spark as capability cheese. Sometimes it does not load the patch. I'm going to add it manually. So I have this color shader here, and I'm going to import this here. Let me restart Spark here. So as you can see, it's here now. The Spark is little bit glitchy. Sometimes you have to restart your project to get the patch. So we want the saturation is controlled by the slider. I'm going to drag this here. See the canvas, angle, material, flat, texture, connect this, yes, camera, texture extraction, and connect camera to the texture. And now I want to connect this value to saturation. So now the user, can control the saturation from the slider. You can connect this to any value, like you can connect this to brightness, contrast, to saturation, lightness. Depends on you. And now we are going to discuss audio reactivity. So now you have seen the filter that reacts to your audio. If you suppose you want to create an equalizer, and the equalizer will take the input from the user's microphone and will take the value, and we can use that value to interact with our objects. We are going to import some music. You can use microphone as well, but I can't use it because I'm using the software. But you can use microphone as well. The microphone object is here, just drag and drop. So the audio will be taken from the microphone input. For audio activity, go to audio section and use audio analyzer. So in audio analyzer, we have multiple bands, and multiple bands have multiple frequencies. So as you can see, band 1 frequency is 0 to 400 hertz. And this all depends on the music or input vocals and bass. Okay, so you have to play with these things to get the effect right. So we are going to add this in the patch, and then we are going to add audio player. You can use, again, you can use the microphone directly, or you can use a clip if you want. I'm going to use a clip as I'm using the software, and then connect it to the audio. Okay. Now we are going to add a speaker to, we need output. Okay, so we're going to add a speaker. Right click, speaker. So the speaker is here. And then create its batch. Right click, it's here. Connect this to the audio. And now for the controller, we are going to use a multi-controller. Right click again, audio, and we have a multi-clip controller here. As you can see, multi-clip controller has a play button. So we are going to use a screen tap gesture. We have the screen pan. When you slide your finger across the screen, we have screen pan. We have screen tap, simply tap. Pinch, when you pinch your finger on the screen rotate. Save expectantly. And then tap and hold when you hold the screen for over half a second. So we are going to use tap to screen. That's the state to play. Then we are going to check the value. As you can see, small values are here, but we need to multiply it. So what we are going to do is band 1, create a multiply patch. Let's say multiply it with 5 again. change it to vector 3. So our goal is to change the size of the diamond by using audio. So what we are going to do is we are going to go in diamond and then again scale. Okay, it's hit. So as you can see, when I click on tap the screen, the audio starts to play, and then the value here from different bands, we are sending it to the multiply patch and then to the diamond scale. So we want the diamond to at least stay on the default. So what we are going to do, we are going to add patch, set to vector 3, and set the default value to 1. So at least when the music stops or when there is silence, the diamond doesn't disappear. So as you can see here, the diamond is here, even if the audio is not playing. So you can use microphone. So when the user is going to use the microphone, the size of the diamond will change. You can use different bands, depends on you. What do you want to create and what frequency do you want to use? You can use band second, third, or fourth, so on. Now I want that the animation should occur smoothly. So we are going to create a transition patch here. You can also trigger the multi-controller patch by camera recordings. You can drag the camera to the patch editor, and as you can see, we have a video recording option here. So as soon as the user will hit the record button, it will trigger the multi-clip controller, and the effect will starts to work. So you can connect this to here, and the pulse patch will be created. I can't use it in the program, but if I use this in the phone, and as soon as I click on start button, that this will trigger the pulse, and the multi-controller will start, and the diamond will start to move. Depends on what we have connected with this. We have connected the microphone, so diamond will move according to the input of the microphone. Okay, now we want this to go smoothly. We are going to create a progress patch. We are going to create a loop animation and then progress the transition. Okay, now add this to the end. This will be our end value, and connect this to the 3D scale. Now, so as you can see, it's moving a little bit smoother than before. We can change the animation type. Let's do elastic curve. So it will depend on the curve, what curve we use. We can also connect this to smile. Like if I want to trigger the audio reactiveness to the smile, we can also do that. Again, just drop the face tracker here and smile. Smile as a boolean patch and just connect it to the switch. So when the user smiles, it will trigger the animation and the audio. So as you can see, when he's smiling, it will trigger the audio reactiveness. So there are multiple possibilities in the audio reactiveness. I'm going to show you a few examples and how you can use it in your effects. So this is one of my effect. It's a auto-tune effect. What it does is it takes the user input, like user's voice, and convert it into a hall type audio, like it beautifies the audio. So I'm going to explain how I created this patch. It's very basic, it's very simple. I have used multiple things here. I'm going to tell you one by one. So the first thing is here is the LUT patch. I have added two LUTs here, black and white and the colorful one. And then we have a custom instruction here, which is not there in previous version of Spark here. So when I click on medium, it shows medium reverb. And when I click on low, it shows low reverb. And again, if I click on normal, it shows normal reverb. And actually the effect is connected to the slider, but as you know, we can't use slider here. I'm going to change the value to 1. So that's my audio reactive thing here. And we have microphone here. Again, we can't use microphone, so we are going to use a audio from the library. Yes. Music. We have a music here. To connect this music, we need a audio player. Audio plays here. It's to audio. Okay. Now we need a controller. For controller, we are going to use a screen tap. You can use this video recording as well. Controller and controller. Okay. So as you can see, when the music's playing, the equalizer starts working. So how I created the equalizer, I'm going to explain it to you guys. So first of all, I have used the reverb patch here to beautify the voice, to beautify the audio that is coming from the input. Okay, and there's some default setting you can see here to change the voice to a good tone. And then I have used the audio analyzer and different bands to move the equalizer size, and then bass, and then bands to a different group that I created. Actually, it's a multiply patch. I have just grouped it, and that's why it's looking like this. And there's this speaker, and we have 2D rectangle scale here. As you can see, total 4, 8, and 12. We have 12 rectangle scale here. So I created a canvas and then different rectangles, and I have kept the material to white and use default sizing here. As you can see in the right side, I have used default sizing to different rectangles to make it look more realistic. So we have different sizes here, and I have created 2D scale in the patch editor, and then the multiply patch. The multiply patch is very simple. I have used the input and then multiply and then add a default value so that it doesn't go lower than the default value. So we have multiply patch to multiply the value, because actually the thing is there's not much difference in different bands, like band 1 and band 2. So what we do is we create a multiply patch to create a certain type of a difference so that the effect look realistic. And now as you can see, the equalizer is looking real. If I remove the multiply patch, there will be no much difference. and it will look very simple. So that's why we are using multiply patch, and we are using add to keep a certain value, and the same process with the other outputs. And I have just grouped it. If I ungroup it, you can see it's all here. So to understand the patch easily, I have grouped it. So I connected this to the different bands you can see here. As for the different instructions, how I created it, I have used Picker UI, and then I have loaded my textures normally, N and L, normal, medium, and low. Okay, and then I have used the option picker to change the reverb. So as you can see, we have a mix value here. You can control a lot of things with this. So I have used 25, 20, and 10. 10 goes for low reverb. So if I click on low reverb, you can see the mix is 10. If I click on medium, the mix is 20. And if I click on normal, the mix is 25. Okay. So I have created patch option picker for different value of reverbs. And then there is instruction with camera recording. Let's move it. I'm going to explain this later. So we have equal is exactly. So what this patch does is, if the value is goes with the first number, then the value is true. So for example, currently we are at 0 normal. So the first value is true. So it's allowing the first animation patch. As you can see, it's ticked on here. If I click on the medium, the value changes to 1, and as this satisfy this value, one or 1, it will trigger this second patch, and same goes for the third one. If I click on third one, the value is 2. The value start from 0 1 2. It's not start from 1, so you need to keep that in mind. So now this condition is true, all the other checkbox is turned off now, and this one is true. So I created this to show the instructions. Medium reverb, normal reverb. To create this, it's very basic. You need to create a 2D text, and a good news for you guys, Spark has finally enabled static text for the effects. So we can use static text now. They will not reject our filter. So we can use static text without any hesitation. So we have static text here, and then its parent class. That is 1. One, 2, and 3. So this is the visibility, 2D text visibility, and this is their texture. Okay. What we are doing is we created again. I have grouped this patch. If I ungroup it, as you can see the whole patch here, but let's group it and go in the group. See what we have created here. So as you can see, I'm taking the input. Okay, send it to pulse. Then we have a delay patch here. What delay patch do is take, suppose if we have a trigger and we want that trigger to work after a certain period of time. So we add a delay patch. So we have a duration of 3 seconds. Okay. Then the delay is here in the reverse. The pulse is playing and resetting the animation at the same time. Then we have a transition. Transition is set to 0.1.5, and the curve is quadratic, and that is connected to the value. What happening is, when the first equal exactly triggers, the first when the first patch triggers, it sends the value, and the transition triggered, and the value changes from 1.5 to 0. And at the same time, and after that, we are disabling the 2D text as it has fulfilled its purpose. So the small fading effect is done by the animation patch, and we are removing text by equal exactly. And same thing happens with the medium one and the lower one. Okay, so we are using this to show our instruction. I have created a parent class here. As you can see, INS for instruction, and I'm triggering this to video recording. As soon as the user starts to video record, this will disable. So suppose if I'm recording my video and I clicked on medium, so it will show the medium in the video. We don't want that. What we are doing is we took the video input, output, I mean video recording output, and use not patch and connected to the INS. So as soon as the user starts to record the video, the medium reverb, low reverb, this will remove from the video and it will be video without any distractions. Same happens with video capture. If I click on medium and someone clicks the photo, it will remove. What we have we have used simple LUT changing effect patch here. So as you can see, when I click on the screen, the LUT changes. So it's very basic. I have used the edges color shader here because to control the contrast and saturation, and then I have used a LUT here. Here's my LUT. So to keep your LUT intact, you need to turn off the compression so that it does not the spark compression does not mess with your LUT, because if you keep it turned on, you will see a different oversaturation on your effects. So make sure to keep this off. We have this here. Then I'm using the fast color LUT. Again, you can find this in the Sparkle library. Fast color LUT. You can use that. And I have connected this to the LUT. I have LUT one then for the color and adjust patch for the black and white effect. And then I'm using option picker. So as you can see, when I click on the screen, it changes to 0. That means we have to show the color effect. And when I click, it changes to 1. And that means it will pass through the adjust color shader, which is set to -1 saturation. -1 saturation means black and white. So it's sending value to the adjust color patch and then to the materials. So we have two face mesh here. So if you are using a fast color LUT, you have to create two face meshes if you are planning to use retouch. Because if you don't going to use if you're not going to use face mesh second, the retouch will not apply. So what we do is we create a first mesh one and connect this to face. Okay, and we have face here, and it is connected to the face tracker. Okay, and then we have face mesh one, which is retouch. And retouch is simply, you guys know how to use. It's very simple. Just set the shader type to retouching, and you can control this. So as you can see here, the smoothing is at 100%. If I disable this, it will remove the retouch as well. So if you are going to create a filter that has a LUT, make sure to use two face meshes to use the retouch or any makeup effect. And if you are using LUT and face effect, make sure to turn off this render pass option, because sometimes what happens is it messes with your effect. So make sure to keep this turned off, so to make sure the effect works properly. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any queries, you can ask me here. I'm going to solve it right here, or you can ask me later in the WhatsApp publicly or privately. You can text me here in the chat box, publicly or privately. I will solve your query right here. And if you have understand the concept, just drop a thumbs up emoji. The video will be shared to you. So null object. Okay. So null object again. Yes. This is a null object. So null object is pretty much empty class. You can use it for anything. Suppose I will use it for plane. Okay. Now I'm changing the value of plane, position of plane 0.05. Okay. Now, if suppose this value is occupied by any other object or patch, suppose it is occupied by user interface, library UI, add patch. Okay, so now as you can see, this value is occupied by uh, okay. So now this value is occupied by slider UI, and you want to change this its position. How you are going to do that, because this value is already obtained by slider UI. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a null object here. Okay, parent class, and make sure it's parent class, and the object that we want to change the position is in the child hierarchy. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we added this plane to the null object, and if I want to change the position, I can do that 0.003. See, now I can change it. So basically null is an empty class. You can use it for anything. We use it to change the position, scale, or to hide a certain object. That's pretty much it. I'm going to share a session 2 video with you guys, because I did not share it with you previously because it was too complicated. But as I have explained everything that was in that video, you guys can watch that video and create a new effect. Anything else that you want to ask? Or if you got the concept, just drop a thumbs up. Also, I'm going to share an assignment with you guys tomorrow probably, or maybe after the session, and the week second video. The week second video is a little bit complex, but you guys can do it because I have already explained everything that's in that video. So it will be easier for you guys to understand. And if you face any problem, you can message me on WhatsApp group, or you can message me privately. Make sure to complete your assignments that are given to you, because Reskill is planning to give you swag. So the evaluation will be based on the number of assignments that you complete and the sessions you joined. So yeah. Okay, Dhruvin, I will update Rohit and he will add you to the group. Anything, you can ask me anything. Okay. Okay, so as you're going to attend this video after the recording will be shared to you, and I know you are going to replicate this whole thing in your Spark here, and of course you are going to face issues. So feel free to message me. Don't hesitate. I will answer you as soon as possible. And yeah, okay. So most of you guys got the today's concept. So we are going to end the live stream here. If you have any question, you can ask me here, or you can message me on the WhatsApp. Rohit, are you there? I think Rohit is offline. So you guys can leave and I will see you in the next session, the session 3. We are going to talk about more complex things and I'm going to share the assignment with you guys soon.